Welcome back to Radiantly Crowned. If you're here with me today, you're more than likely on the most important journey looking for the most important person in your life. And sis, that's you. Now, if you were with me last week, we talked about self-forgiveness and extending grace to ourselves. And we're going to do a shift today, and we're going to talk about that gap of self-doubt that remains even after we've forgiven ourselves. So, on this episode, we're going to talk about tackling and rebuilding self trust. Because if you can't trust yourself, then who can you trust? And so, I have three things that I want to talk about that you might not even realize is happening. And the first one is self punishment. It's the subtle self punishment of guilt. So when we forgive our past choices and we sit down and we've talked to God and we've forgiven ourselves, it doesn't always go away just instantly. There's a quiet nagging there sometimes. And we tend to punish ourselves without even realizing it. So let me give an example of that. And this might seem small. So you're in a store and you see a really nice outfit that you know that you would rock, you know that you would look great in. And then you immediately start to think, I don't deserve that. It's not time for me to start treating myself yet. Or you buy it and then you just hang it in the closet, waiting for the perfect time, waiting to essentially become worthy to wear it. Now, you have to back and look at it. You've already taken responsibility for your past. You've already accepted God's grace. Sis, put that outfit on. Not only does this build the confidence, it builds the trust in yourself. Even with making that small decision, it builds that trust in yourself. And so you have to think about Proverbs 3:5-6. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. To me, that's saying, if God has forgiven me, if he has extended grace, and I have extended grace, then surely I am worthy of not punishing myself. So that means I'm worthy of treating myself. I'm worthy of putting this outfit on. Stop over understanding your past and leave it in your past. The second thing, and I'm really guilty about this one, I really had to check myself on this. And sometimes I even find myself going back to this, and that's the validation trap. So when you don't trust yourself, you'll go and you'll frantically watch videos, you'll read all the self-help books. Anytime that you're thinking about making a decision in your life or your business, or maybe you just want to switch jobs, you're going to call 10 people, ask for 10 different opinions, and still be no closer to a decision. And I'm not saying that you can't watch videos that might have content that can help you, or read the books, definitely. And it's okay to confer with people sometimes, but not with everything. You see, the problem with listening to everyone else except God and yourself is that you don't hear God or yourself. So the solution here is clear. When you're needing to make a decision, you have to clear the noise. Once you pray about it, sis, you need to sit in silence. Give yourself the time to hear God's voice. Protect your silence. And then you have to trust in and believe that God will answer you and He will give you the direction. You see, your destiny is already written. Your purpose is already in the books. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. See, you don't need a committee to approve what's already written. You simply need to pray, be silent, and trust in God. And then last but not least, is small wins build big trust. Now, what do I mean by this? So often we think that, I'm gonna do this big overhaul of my life. I'm definitely guilty of this one as well. When I first realized that I was gonna be going into entrepreneurship and that I was gonna be doing what God has called me to do, and that's speaking on here, I thought that I had to do everything in one day. Like, I went and got the books, I subscribed to all the channels. I just did everything that I thought was going to make me this better person, and I wanted to overhaul my whole life in one day. But then I had to stop and think. What I had been through did not happen in one day. It happened over a number of years. And it's going to take time to undo the things that I had been through. It's going to take time to undo every single limiting belief that I had placed in myself. And so what I have come to find is that I don't have to overhaul, or I didn't have to overhaul everything at once. But what I did have to do was keep the promises, small promises that I made to myself. I had to do that so that I could validate myself. And there's a huge power in keeping the daily promises, the tiny commitments that you have made to yourself, and actually showing up and being able to check those off. Now, you've probably heard this before, because I did, and it didn't resonate with me at first. I'm like, keep the tiny promises to yourself. So this means if you say that you're getting up at 6 a.m. and you set your alarm for 6 a.m., we're not going to be hitting snooze. We're getting up at 6 a.m. and we're starting our day, and we're talking to God right away. Or if you say that I'm going to the gym 3 times this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, then on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're going to the gym and we're going to do our 30 minutes on the treadmill. Little things. I'm not drinking a soda this week. Then this week, we won't be having a soda. So it's the little things here that remind yourself that you're trustworthy. And it builds big trust. James 2:17 says, thus also by faith itself, if it does not have works, it's dead. One of my favorite things in the Bible, faith without works is dead. And that's saying, I'm believing in you, God. And I'm believing that you're going to help me in my change. But I'm not going to do any of the work. Now, sis, how does that work? So you see, the small promises that we keep with ourselves is not only just keeping it with ourselves. It's an agreement that you made between you and God. So getting out the bed on time, showing up to the gym because you said it, not drinking that soda for the week. That's backing up that faith. That's that work that you need. Because again, faith without works is dead. Now, just as everything else on this journey, it won't be easy to build the trust in yourself. I'm still working on it right now. I'm doing it in real time. If you go back and you look at some of my videos, I've had to come back and I've had to apologize a couple times saying, I'm going to show up next week. I will meet you here on Sundays, because when I first started doing this, I had no trust in myself. I was still building my discipline. And so I disappeared at the very beginning for a while, so I had to come back and apologize. But I have been making it my business to show up every week, because that's what I said I would do. And it feels so good, sis, when I get on here and I have prepared what I need to say to get a message out, and I show up for not only myself, but for someone who needs to hear it. And I'm learning to trust myself over and over again. It's a part of the healing. So if you know someone, or maybe if it's you, start doing the small things today. And that would include putting on that outfit, praying on it, and waiting to hear back from God and not asking anyone else's opinion. And most certainly, keeping the small promises to yourself. If any of this has resonated with you, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Leave a comment below and let me know how you will start rebuilding your trust in yourself again. And just as a reminder, I am gifting sessions to anyone who needs some guidance on mapping out the next steps in their healing journey. And even if it's not your healing journey, I'd be more than honored to be gifted your time in exchange for my gift to you on mapping out any next steps for anything that you want to do in your life. The link is below. And until next time, may your day be as gorgeous as you are. And I'll see you here next Sunday for the next episode.